So I've been in the property game for 7, almost 8 years now at this point, and what I've written down is 3 things that I would do differently if I could start again. So not necessarily regrets, these aren't things I think about or regret too much, but I know had I have done these things, I would be many steps ahead of where I am now. But that being said, I'm still very grateful to be where I am. The first thing I would like to say really regret, I do really regret, and I would change in an instant, is documenting more of the journey for a couple of reasons. Now, the first property deals I did, I pretty much documented nothing of it. I mean, I had a few photos and videos on my old iPhone, I put a few little bits on Instagram, but I wasn't sharing what I was doing each day. I wasn't sharing my thoughts and mistakes, and really just not putting out any content because I felt, because I was at the start of the journey, there wasn't any value I could provide because I was the one learning from everyone else. But what you then realize is that's always going to be the case. There's always going to be people further ahead of you. You're always going to be a student of the game, and this is a trap I find myself falling into all the time. I think, oh well, you know, I'm still just a student of the game. I'm trying to learn from all these people ahead of me, and you forget that actually there's all these other people that can learn from what you're doing and get value in what you're doing. But also for yourself and for your own selfish purposes. Now I wish I could just go back and look at videos of the day I exchanged contracts on my first ever property deal and how happy I was and where I was at the time and things like that. And it's a shame that I can't do that. And I had a bit of an emotional day recently, a few weeks ago, where we did a video where I went back down memory lane, I call it, to all of the first property deals I did. And for some of them it was the first time I've been back in years since I did the deal. And doing what we do now and doing the deals we're doing now, although they're quite sizable deals, 8, 9, 10 million GDVs on a couple of our projects, but I'm constantly looking ahead and I think, oh, but I want to be doing bigger deals. And it's not until you reflect and look back on where you started that you realize actually how far you've come. But it's also become a lot more apparent to me recently about kind of what I've missed out on by not documenting more of the journey, is how valuable it is to have a personal brand and to cultivate an audience of people that know, like and trust you, because there's no way we'd be at where we are now and on the trajectory we're at if it wasn't for our ability to raise finance from investors, which I don't want to say is easy, but we are doing it probably a lot more effortlessly than what others could do because of the content we've shared on social media. And talk about it a lot, the power of creating content. It's high leverage work, it works for you 24/7, it can be seen infinite amount of times all around the world, and it's so powerful. So I encourage anyone, even if you're just starting out, even if you haven't even started yet, just share what you're doing, document your journey, share your thoughts about particular things. And the thoughts can change as you get older, of course, and you can update your audience on where you're at in your journey. But for your own selfish purpose, be able to look back upon it in years to come, for the benefit of attracting more opportunity and the benefits of a personal brand, bringing in new deals and having people send you deals, attracting new talent, so hiring best talent is a lot easier when you've got a personal brand because people want to work for you. And thirdly, raising finance from investors, which is going to allow you to scale your business. You've got an audience of people that know, like and trust you, and you need to raise money. That's going to be the number one way for you to do that. So that's the first thing I regret not doing. The second thing is I've learned recently over the last 3 or so years, and it's the one thing that I've spotted is the most common pattern amongst those that are successful. And I'm constantly looking for the patterns amongst those that are successful in particular areas of life, and success can be many different things, but amongst those that are super successful in their health and fitness, and they're in great shape and they have a great physique, across those people there are certain patterns in their behaviors, in the decisions they make around when they go to the gym, how they train, what they eat, how they sleep. those people that are successful in sales. There are certain patterns amongst all the things they do, how they make decisions, what they say on the phone, their mindset, their behaviors, etc. And so I'm constantly looking for those patterns, and amongst some of the most successful entrepreneurs I've spent time with over the last few years, the biggest pattern is their ability to focus on just one thing and go all in on one thing and not fall for shiny object syndrome where they're constantly looking at other opportunities. Some of my most successful friends that I'm staying with here in this beautiful villa, they've had their success by just doing one thing, one business, which they've put all of their energy into. They haven't been distracted by trying to do so many different things, and their ability to just focus intently for long periods of time and not get distracted. But the point being is focus on one thing, making the main thing the main thing. And I definitely made the mistake when I was in my late teens, probably 20, 21, until I started really to learn about this, was I fell for the trap of wanting to have all these different income streams, and I thought having multiple income streams is better. And it's true what they say, that some of the wealthiest people in the world have multiple income streams, but only once they've done that one thing which has got them light years ahead and made them tens or hundreds or of millions or billions of dollars or pounds. But I was trying to do so many different things. I was trying to learn how to trade the stock market. I was trying to do had an events business. I was trying to do e-commerce. I was trying to do property. I was also working as an estate agent. I was trying to do all these different things. And had I have just said on day one, right, this is what I'm going to do, and I'm not going to get distracted by anything else, and I'm just going to go all in on this one thing. If I didn't waste so much energy trying to focus on all the other things, I know I would be years ahead of where I am now. And it's still something I fall trap for. I still have a lot of things going on, and it's very much my life these days is a question of managing focus, not managing time, and using my focus as best I can to focus on the one or two things that really move the needle in a business. But that's the second thing. The third thing is not playing a longer term game. And if I go back to use kind of the first property deals I did, for example, they were just flips where I would buy the house, I would borrow money to refurbish it from friends, family, private investors, credit cards, wherever I could get the money. I was extremely resourceful. It's probably the best word to describe myself back then. Still am, probably a little bit more reckless, but I could afford to be. One, because I was young, and two, because the deals I found were such good deals that a lot had to go wrong before I wouldn't be able to pay off any debts. But those properties, I flipped them and I made good profits, and I knew if I'd sell it, I'm going to sell them and have all this profit, and I'm going to have all this money in my bank account, and that was exciting to me. But I was thinking such short term. And when you sell a property, you pay estate agency fees, you pay another set of legal fees. It's then a taxable event, so you're then paying tax. But you're also not having the benefit of retaining it, where you have long-term capital appreciation, which is leveraged. So if you're leveraged 4-to-1, you've got a 75% buy-to-let mortgage, and property prices go up 10% over a 3-year period. You've actually gone up, or equity's actually gone up 40%, which you can refinance, reinvest, and allocate to other deals. And got the monthly cash flow coming in every single month. I'm thinking some of the deals that were 4 or 5 years ago, 4 or 5 years of monthly cash flow, even if it's only a few £100s, it adds up, and then you do that across multiple deals, and then you compound it and reinvesting it into more projects. So I do wish I retained more of the properties I own. Probably not all of them. A good rule of thumb that some people talk about is a 3 and 5 rule, that for every properties you should buy, you should retain 3 and sell 2. And it is at times you may want to sell some properties to have the liquidity in your bank account as working capital to get out of one deal and into another. But where you can, retain as much as possible. I heard a saying from Grant Cardone recently, although I don't agree with everything he says, this one struck me, and it was, rich people sell things, wealthy people never sell anything. Because people get wealthy by owning assets long term, playing long term games, and benefiting from the increase in value of their equity over a long term time horizon. And I know, again, I would be significantly wealthier if I had retained those more of those properties. But lessons learned. I'm very fortunate that I'm learning these lessons now, not in another 20-25 years time. So if I could just help others to not make those mistakes, then I'd implore you to follow this advice rather than wait another 7 or 8 years and regret not doing the same and learning it the hard way. So if there's any questions, drop them below, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next video.